All right, travel journalist Peter Greenberg is joining us live tonight. So, Peter, let's pick it up right there. Flight cancellations through the end of the month. Why are they making those so far in advance?
Well, let's take a look at the total number here. If you go back to Christmas through today, we're at about 27,000 canceled or delayed flights. Now, 2 weeks ago, at the height of the holiday season, the airlines didn't have a choice. You had low staffing levels, positive tests with COVID with their employees. You had weather, and you had, again, an overscheduling situation. They were trying to schedule more flights than they could handle. They had to cancel the flights. Now we're outside the holiday period, and a lot of the flights that are being canceled now is because they want to, because no one's flying. That's the issue. In the first quarter of this year, as it is the first quarter of every year, the numbers drop. So we have JetBlue canceling over 1,200 flights between now and next Thursday. We have Alaska Airlines cutting back 10% of their entire flight schedule. And it's not just in this country. Get this. In Europe, Lufthansa is canceled between now and February 15th, a little bit more than a month from now, 33,000 flights. That's more than 1,000 flights a day. And they're doing that because they need to pare down their schedule anywhere, and nobody's flying relative to what they were doing just 2 weeks ago.
So how's that impacting pricing? Or if I jump on, I need a flight real quick, can I find a time that works for me?
Right now, the pricing is still in your favor because it's still a law of supply and demand. Airfares are very low. New York to LA next week is $108. I did a flight from Dallas to LaGuardia. I priced it out for the following week, $32. And this is not just low-fare carriers. That was American Airlines.
Wow, that's pretty good. All right, so we can take advantage of this if we choose to. I wanted to ask you about the 5G situation, of course, delayed until January 19th. What's the bigger impact, and how do you factor all that into this?
Well, you may remember not too long ago, you couldn't use your cell phone on a plane. You couldn't use your laptop or electronic device because they were fearing it would interfere with navigation systems in the cockpit. Well, the Federal Aviation Administration then went out and tested every electronic device imaginable and bumped them up to 100 times their RF interference at a distance of 1 foot, from the cockpit. Nothing happened. The only interference came from marine band radios. You're not going to see a lot of those on an airplane. However, this is not interference on the plane now. This is interference coming from outside the plane with the very powerful 5G towers. Now, you know it's been delayed for 2 weeks while they're trying to figure it out. It may be delayed longer because the choice that they have is this. Do you move the towers or do you move the flight paths? And right now, the only other option they have is to reduce the power in the towers anywhere near an airport. They're trying to figure that out.
And is the issue safety?
You bet. You bet. They had some issues in Europe on this already, and they worked it out between the air traffic folks, the airlines, and the phone companies. They haven't yet done that here. They've agreed to agree. They just haven't figured out the pathway forward.
I think we agree that we want them to figure it out before we get on a plane and turn on our device. Peter, before I let you go, cruise ships, they're a moving target right now with COVID. What do you expect in the months to come?
Well, interestingly enough, while the CDC is now monitoring about 92 different ships that have reported at least one positive COVID case, there are 240 ships continuing their itineraries. And if you look at the numbers, the most number of cases we've seen is about 48 cases on a ship that had about 4,500 passengers. That's about 1% caseload. Every community in America would be thrilled to have a 1% caseload. So it's not really an outbreak. These are people who've already been vaccinated on ships where it was a requirement for passengers, crew, and officers to be vaccinated. They were identified. Most were asymptomatic. They were mild cases. Nobody went to the hospital. Nobody died. However, right now, the real issue is why are cruise ships starting to cancel? It's not because of the cases on board. It's because of the ports that may not want to let them dock those ships. So right now, everybody's waiting to see.
Maybe getting stuck in your stateroom. All right, Peter, thank you as always. I know you're in New York, so good luck with that storm. We'll be watching it. See you next time.
Good morning.
Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.